Peter Singer, you alluded before to what you thought was an unfair rhetorical use by Dr. Cameron of an analogy to what he called German conscience, which obviously is the Nazis. How would you really address to those who are here who are concerned that this does lead to a slippery slope, I hate to use the cliche, that, in other words, there's a potential for eugenics, there's a potential for eliminating people's lives based on their disabilities. There are many people here, obviously, who have that concern. Some of them are protesting outside because they feel once you open this Pandora's box, you've got the possibility of people being eliminated just on the basis of their disability.
Well, essentially, I simply think that the analogy doesn't hold because what the situations that we're dealing with are quite different, and what's being proposed is quite different. On the one hand, you have a totalitarian state with a racist policy based on the preservation of the purity of the Aryan folk, which is, you know, a racial myth, which they consider certain people basically are a blot on the Aryan folk, and they are Jews and Gypsies and people with disabilities, genetic disabilities, inherited disabilities. And this was therefore simply a program to get rid of those people, to eliminate them for the benefit of this mythical state. What I'm talking about is something that is not carried out by an authoritarian state, that is focused on the interests of the individual, and particularly in the case of voluntary euthanasia and assisted suicide, on the interest of, on the autonomy of the individual making that decision, and in the other cases, as I said, of the infants, on the family being the nucleus of that decision. I'm not talking about the state coming in and making the decision, and I'm talking about a decision that is always brought down to the level of individual interest.
Please, ma'am, please. I'm going to ask you to be quiet, please. Ma'am, if you don't be quiet, we're going to have you.
Well, let me just say something, because I did hear the word Medicare, and that relates to something that Dr. Cameron said. He referred in discussing voluntary euthanasia to the effect that this might have.
We are trying to conduct an evening here without interruptions, and unfortunately, if you're going to continue to interrupt, I'm going to have you removed. Ma'am, would you please be courteous and let him speak? I understand your feelings. I understand your emotions, but they're inappropriate right now. Let us hear both sides.
What I